hope her sister kept her big mouth shut. Nancy Wilson of Heart, so talented, so great, such a great band. And not long ago, Mike said, it's really embarrassing to be an American right now. And I'll never be a shut up and sing or shut up and play person. Because if I say it about Heart, it means I got to say it about Ted Nugent. So now, say what you want, do what you want. Do what you want. So welcome, my friend. How are you? Busy times in our industry.
Well, they really are. And there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of concern about what's next in this war. Our friend and colleague Hugh Hewitt writes over at Fox News that the most important decision of President Trump's life is before him. And, of course, I had a friend who rather cynically said, boy, your buddy Hugh and the neocons are pretty excited about dropping bombs on Iran, aren't they? And, I get that take. It's best exemplified in the 2-hour interview that Tucker gave to Ted Cruz.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you right now, flat out, let me just tell you right now, everybody inevitably will take sides. Mm-hmm. Oh, Tucker was a jerk. Ted Cruz was unprepared. Oh, Ted was great and he bested Tucker. It doesn't, put that aside for a minute. It's a masterclass in two incredibly smart men laying out positions for what is a complicated issue. I know that we got the tease of the minute of, the stupid gotcha question and all that. But the 2 hours, Mark.
It's great.
It's fantastic. In fact, let me give you a little mention. Let me just share with you one of the things. I'm paraphrasing here, but at one point, Senator Cruz was clearly frustrated. And he said, Tucker, would you stop with the snark? Would you just knock off the snark?
It's kind of my point.
Well, you want to know what Tucker said? He said, you're absolutely right. It's a quirk of mine. I do it too much. I'm working on doing it less, and I got to do better at it. And I'm like, that's the kind of raw, passion that they both brought to the table. Mm-hmm. And look, Senator Cruz was brilliant. I mean, you're never going to best Ted Cruz in a debate. But you're also, it's really hard to push back against Tucker's interviewing technique because he's very good at it too. Mm-hmm. And there is resistance within our tribe. There are people who they're worried about us taking the ball off illegal immigration. Fair or not? Okay, I get that. I think we can do two things at once.
I do too. Wait, pause on that. And I get this all. We will get calls, you will get calls, I will get calls. Something big will happen in the news. Something, not as big as a raging war, but some big thing will happen. Invariably, I'll get 16 calls and 43 texts. Yeah, Mark, I think the reason this is happening is so that we won't pay attention to this over here. 15 things can, especially these days. Haven't we learned that 25 things can happen at once? There's nothing about the Iran-Israel conflict that means we've stopped paying attention to the border.
I agree with Hugh and with Senator Cruz and with many others who believe that if President Trump orders our military to destroy the most hardened targets in Iran's nuclear weapons and ballistic missile programs, he's going to end a war that began since, the first Ayatollah Khomeini. We're going back to 1979.
Oh, okay, pause on that. I hope, because I too, and I don't think we're not in a different place on the spectrum. I don't think we begin with, and it's not through any type of hero worship or cult-like thing. My base setting, my default setting is trust of Trump. He has more information than either you or I have, and his instincts, I think, are sound and good, and his heart and his mind are solid. That said, if it's an American crew and an American bomber that drops that bunker buster on Fordo and takes out that nuclear site, there's all kinds of good things about that, all kinds of reasons to do that, 100%. Two things that I don't know happen, that I don't know. Number one, the regime just falls, or the Iranian regime all of a sudden goes, oh, we're so sorry, we'll be better now. I don't know that happens. And the other thing that I also don't know, that would be a terrible thing that might happen, is what's left of the Iranian war machine starts lobbing missiles at every American installation they can find. So be careful what you wish for. That's not me saying don't do it. It's me saying it might not be as tidy as some people think.
Well, it's fair, and it also confirms the complicated nature of all of this. You know, you talk about a regime change and toppling the mullahs. Who's to say that the ones who replace them aren't going to be worse? Mm-hmm. You know, you just don't.
Happened in Afghanistan. Happened in Libya.
That's right. And best case scenario is that the people of Iran who want a democracy will rise up. You know, and there'll be. Supposedly there's some Iranian leader living in Virginia right now that's willing to go back. I think it's the Shah's grandson.
Reza Pahlavi. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, but look, what we can't afford, and what I believe in, and I'm with you. My default is trust Trump. He's been saying for years, probably 20 years. We can't. He said, I've been saying this for 20 years. We cannot allow Iran to get their hands on a nuke. Look what they're doing now. They just bombed a hospital in Israel.
Yep.
Now, look what Israel's doing. They're bombing military targets. Yep. Israel's going after nuclear sites and terrorist military sites. They're not going after. They're not trying to kill civilians. No. This is what Iran is committed to: wiping Israel out and wiping us out. You know, so in a way, this is our war, and we can pretend it's not. But I also don't want to pretend that the counterpoint of view, the other view, is not existent.
Absolutely.
I don't. And there is a real knee-jerk inclination for people to say, "Oh, there's no division." Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Don't say that. Tucker Carlson, whatever you think of him, Tucker Carlson has millions and millions of supporters.
No doubt. There are shades along this spectrum, but people who are going, okay, you might think that's a great idea. I don't know how great it is, but the notion of MAGA world split in two irreparably is wildly overstated and just wishful thinking on some parts. Did you hear the gentleman I talked to leading up to our segment from about 7:25?
Sorry, I missed it. No.
There was something Tucker-esque about it in the following way. It was and a wonderful gentleman. He can call me back anytime. Really, some pretty sound, solid points to make. But the people on the other side, just as Tucker thinks you're stupid if you disagree with him, or you don't care about the details of regime change, his entire, by the way, you're so 100% right. Listen to the 2 hours. Tucker is so smart and so great. Good Tucker comes out way more than jerk Tucker. It's really, really important. But the very title of his post was, Ted Cruz wants regime change in Iran and doesn't care about the details. That kind of condescension and snark, like you said, is just not helpful. The gentleman I spoke to, very thoughtful, said that to be all in for whatever that even means, to be really boldly in support of Israel, or for Christians to consider Israel to be religiously significant, that constitutes Israel worship. I was like, dude, don't do that.
This
is so
was
condescending, you know?
This was a huge chunk of the Tucker Cruz showdown.
Yep.
Ted Cruz said something that I've said for many years, and I think you have too. Right from the Bible, those who bless Israel, I will bless. Those who curse Israel, I will curse. Well, Senator Cruz invoked that, and Tucker just bagged all over that. He said,
and Tucker's a person of faith. Tucker's not some agnostic or atheist.
And then that got legs on social media where people were making fun of Senator Cruz. An actual senator is quoting the Bible as to defend foreign policy. Well, but see, isn't that interesting though? You and I are like, well, duh. However, it's true, and we do have a spiritual alliance with Israel, and Tucker doesn't seem to see that at all. I mean, honest to goodness, that was probably 5 minutes, riveting minutes about whether or not it's appropriate for a U.S. senator to invoke a biblical admonition about our support of Israel. And Tucker just could not believe it. He said, "What do you mean, modern day Israel? Benjamin Netanyahu? You think the Bible's talking about today's military in Iran, in Israel?" Well, we're talking about the state of Israel, and Senator Cruz kept saying that.
So what do we mean? Let's take 60 seconds on what we mean by that in 2025. I'm never going to use something biblical to say that is the one sole beacon for some foreign policy, constitutional, strategic thing I want to do now. But it helps to inform the importance of that country to me, to America, and I know that we're a country of many, many different religious faiths. So it's not like that's the one thing, the guiding beacon, nor does it mean that anything Israel does is magically right and proper and good. Not at all. It just means that against this backdrop, that in a Judeo-Christian rooted country, there is significance here that goes beyond the global strategies of the moment.
we have many, many reasons to defend and stand with Israel, and that's one of them. I think it's one of the most important ones, frankly. But I don't want to ignore God. I look at you. So Tucker wants to dismiss God.
Mike,
you knock
I don't want to
yourself
ignore
out.
God. Can we have 2 minutes? Can you do something? You literally have 2 minutes. It might take all 2 minutes for you to do it, and you got to do it because I said I was going to make you do it. Explain the Karen Reed trial to me. Who's this woman? Why do I care? Why does it lead national newscasts?
It's a fascinating story. I can give you 30 seconds because I also want to tell you about something really important about what's going on in New York right now with the protest. Karen Reed, this is a woman who was charged with murdering her Boston police boyfriend one wintry night a few years ago. It was a blizzard. They're all out drunk. She's drunk. He's drunk. They're all drunk. There's a bunch of cops involved. The accusation is that his fellow officers had some nefarious role to play. He was found dead in the snow. There's a fascinating documentary about it on HBO. About, I think it's called Man in the Snow, but she was found not guilty yesterday. And what was crazy was in the courtroom where they had cameras when they read the not guilty verdict, you could hear the roar of the crowd outside.
She had a huge gathering of supporters.
She has
Why the supporters? What was the? Is it right that she was acquitted? And why was the Why was the prosecution of her flawed? And again, why was it's a local crime story, a salty and bizarre one to be sure. But
it's one of those. It's one of those fascinating stories. It's a Jean Benet kind of a whodunit kind of a mystery,
and beauty queen kid, and it's weird.
Well, this is cops. This is corruption allegedly of the cops. These are cops that were covering up for one of their own. They were railroading her allegedly. They were planning evidence. A whole thing. It's pretty fascinating.
I knew True Crime Mike would have the answer for me.
I know, but True Crime Mike is not decided on her guilt or innocence. So I got to give it. I really, it's one of those, and I hate those kind of things. I normally like to say, yeah, you did it. Nah, you didn't do it. I don't know.
We like to tie a bow around things in a tidy way. All right, protests in New York. Go. The people with the Iranian flag wrapped around in Times Square.
With the Iranian flag.
What are they
thinking?
What is
Here we go. Well, there we go again. I mean, it's official. No matter how evil or how diabolical Hamas, Iran, the left is going to celebrate it. The American left. I mean, what's next? Hitler and Satan? I mean, there's no low for them. There is no low they won't go, Mark. The Iranian flag. What do you suppose that's about?
Does it look like just New York randos? I mean, it's not like Rashida Tlaib was out there, emceeing the thing, was it?
Well, what I know is AOC is celebrating this Democrat socialist who might become the next mayor. And just mark it down. That happens. I ain't ever going back to New York.
Because this is the guy who says, I'm going to freeze your rent. I will set up, what did he say? I'm going to set up city-funded.
City-funded. And already John Catsimatidis, who owns Gristedes, said, if that happens, we're out. We'll shut down all the Gristedes.
City
grocery stores.
Groceries, exactly
grocery stores.
And
to regulate the prices, $30 minimum wage, $30 an hour. And
social workers instead of police. That'll
correct.
Work.
Defund the police. Yeah, that'll work. Show up with your comfort doll rather than a gun when somebody's stabbing you to death. I mean, this guy's not. But by the way, you want to know the option?
Yeah.
Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo.
I know. He's back.
I mean, he was like unbelievable. All right, well, I'll be in New York today and tomorrow. So
okay, wow.
I'll be there tomorrow and Monday. So pray for me. And we got a lot of challenges ahead of us, but we'll get through it.
Glad to be walking through them with you. Always so glad to do it every day. That's our buddy Mike Gallagher. He is on as soon as we're done, 10 o'clock right here on 660 AM. The Answer.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.